In Parshas Behaaloscha, the Torah describes Moshe Rabbeinu as being the greatest Anav to have ever walked the face of the earth. What is an Anav? It's a humble person. How is it possible that Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble person to ever walk the face of the earth? But we need to understand what humility truly is. The Baal Shem Tov Zchus Yagan Aleinu explains that true humility is not something which is external, but rather something which is internal. Moshe Rabbeinu is described as being v'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael kim Moshe, that there was no prophet in the history of our people as great as Moshe. And there's a machlokas in the Gemara as to whether Moshe actually wrote those words, or Yoshua wrote it about Moshe, or Moshe wrote those words crying. But there's no doubt that Moshe knew how pivotal he was of a character in Jewish history, how the Jewish people would never have been able to be developed as they were without Moshe Rabbeinu being the shaliach, the messenger sent by Hashem to lead his flock. If that's the case, Moshe, knowing how great he was, how is it possible for the Torah to say he was so humble? So Baal Shem Tov answers that Moshe was comfortable enough with himself that he didn't have a need to flaunt his exceptionality upon other people. Moshe didn't have a need for other people to see how great he was. Moshe didn't have a need to tell other people about how great his family was. He didn't have a need to tell other people how much money he had. He didn't have a need to tell other people how brilliant he was. He didn't have a need to tell other people how he was chosen by Hashem and therefore he is on top of them. He's more important, he's greater, he's significant, he has more value. Moshe Rabbeinu had none of that. Because Moshe Rabbeinu was humble. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that the kochos, that the strength, the power, the energy that Hashem gave to him was for a purpose, and that purpose was to lead Klal Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have arrogance to put anyone else down. Moshe Rabbeinu just did his job and led the Jewish people into a people, to the cusp of the land of Israel, where his Talmud, his prize student, Yoshua, would actually lead the people into the land. Moshe Rabbeinu was full of humility because he knew what he was without having to tell other people about it. What an incredibly powerful lesson for us in life, where we live in an age of self-promotion, a time where so many people are making themselves into being famous by virtue of promoting themselves, promoting their accomplishments, but doing so not with humility, doing so at times with arrogance, pushing themselves onto others. The lesson of Moshe Rabbeinu is for all of us to be the best that we can be, to be as great as we possibly can, to influence the world around us in an amazing way, but to do so with recognizing that we don't need to be arrogant when it comes to others in order to prove the value of ourselves inside. May we be zocheh to learn from the humility of Moshe and improve and become greater and greater each and every day. Thank you for listening and have a good Shabbos.